Afghanistan and Iraq when troops were murdered by these improvised explosive devices. How can the IDF avoid these pitfalls, these deadly traps?
Yeah, so the issue of the improvised explosive devices that we saw in Iraq and Afghanistan, that actually was part of the justification for the elimination of Qasem Soleimani by the Trump administration during the first Trump term. He was the mastermind behind that. That tactic has now been adopted by Hamas. In terms of how the Israel Defense Forces can avoid it, it's very, very tricky. The area in which these soldiers were operating had already been swept by D9s. It had also been bombarded by air power before we began to operate in there. And there are real implications to the locale of where this took place. Bet Hanun is about 1.5 kilometers away from the city of Sderot. The citizens of southern Israel are being encouraged by the Israeli government to move back home. To know that there are terror operatives so proximate to our homes, our towns and our villages is very, very problematic. The bottom line is that the IDF has to be very calculating. It has to mix up its tactics all the time because it is being watched, it is being learned. And as the commentator just said there, your correspondent said there, they have what's called home field advantage.
Are the troops getting tired? 22 months into this war, some troops are being called up 4, 5, 6 times, several tours of Gaza. Is that an element in this?
Yeah, I think that's an element of it, but I don't believe that that's why this occurred. I think that it's impossible to make the case that troops aren't exhausted, but there's also a determination to continue the fight. And just to make one very quick point, it's why this fight, in my opinion, must be fought to the end, contrary to many voices that say, end the war, bring the hostages home, and we'll leave this to another day. No. The Israel Defense Forces has been drafted time and again in a pulsing fashion against the same enemy with the same lack of conclusion, with the same sense that we will be drafted back to that fight, the same theatre, again in a couple of years from now. This has to be fought to an end, and the resolution to the Gazans who are displaced, in my opinion, lies in the Sinai Peninsula, not in some elaborate rebuild funded by the Saudis or the Egyptians inside the Gaza.
Okay, very, very quickly, Ariel.
Yeah, look, ultimately there's urban warfare that's a known doctrine, but this is demolished urban warfare, which is completely different, provides a lot more hiding areas for the terrorists, and they are simply emerging from beneath the ground. So even if these are areas that the IDF holds control over above ground,
they're still in those tunnels.
Keep on
all right, thank you both.
Up.